Hey, would you mind signing?
Hey, take.
Come over here by me. Let's go. Come over here by me.
Back up. Back up. Back up.
Tristan, anything to say?
Andrew Tate is back in federal custody, and the pressure just keeps stacking up. First, Coffeezilla put a spotlight on his crypto activities. Then came a platform hack, a tax seizure, and an investigation that refused to fade away. Now the situation has taken another huge turn with dozens of new charges from the UK and a major legal fight over extradition. What's even more surprising is that Coffeezilla saw this coming years before most people were even paying attention. So let's rewind to where this story really started, because everything that's happened since has only made those early warnings look even more significant.
Soliciting, trafficking, preying upon women around the world.
The key thing is we don't tolerate the trafficking of women or, frankly, the abuse of women. We do not tolerate that.
I'm a Navy SEAL in this. You can come get me, raid my house, take my stuff. You think I don't wipe my phone every night? You think I'm dumb? Come get me, arrest me. I'm staying right here.
Hey, take.
Tate was arrested in Miami on July 18th on a sealed federal warrant after British prosecutors announced 38 new charges against him and his brother, Tristan. He's denied every allegation, and his legal team is pushing back against extradition, calling the arrest politically motivated.
No, I'm never gonna launch a crypto. I just like to with crypto Twitter. Because crypto Twitter are full of the biggest degenerate losers on the planet. They're losers. Crypto is the only scenario I can think of where you can make a whole bunch of money while benefiting society zero.
Whether that argument stands up in court is something only time will reveal. But to understand how everything reached this point, it's important to go back to where the story really began.
The goal is that you can buy the token and own a percentage of the school. So imagine you sign up for the real world, you start to make money, you focus on your tasks, then you can invest that money in the real world token and get paid every single month a monthly dividend from the profits of the school.
It didn't start with an arrest. It started with claims about crypto that later became only a small part of a much bigger controversy. For years, Tate openly criticized crypto Twitter, calling it full of losers who make money while benefiting society zero. He made it clear he was never going to launch a coin of his own, but that promise didn't last long, and about a year later, things took a very different turn. Getting caught saying one thing and then doing the complete opposite isn't a great look, especially when those statements are still on the record. For many critics, it wasn't just a one-time mistake. They argued it showed a much bigger pattern. It wasn't only one token that drew attention. Tate went on to promote several crypto projects, and critics claimed the cycle kept looking similar every time. Big hype at the start, followed by a sharp drop afterward. The real project also wasn't presented as just another coin. It was promoted alongside a members-only program called The Real World, described as the only real way to escape what he calls the Matrix.
President Trump, Andrew and Tristan Tate landed in Florida today on a private jet after being released from custody in Romania. They are accused rapists, human traffickers, not thought of as good people in many circles. Did your administration pressure the Romanian government to release them, and if so,
I know nothing about that. I don't know.
Members were encouraged to bring in more paying members, while the money was said to flow upward to the people already at the top. Critics argued that it looked less like a traditional education platform and more like a pyramid with a login page. Then, on November 25th, 2024, another major controversy hit. The real world was hacked, and chat logs from more than 800,000 users were reportedly leaked, along with around 325,000 email addresses. According to the hackers, they didn't need advanced tools to get in, and they described the platform's security as laughably weak. Instead of focusing on the reported breach, Tate highlighted the platform's numbers on Twitter, pointing to 800,000 members paying $49 a month and emphasizing the revenue. Meanwhile, critics questioned why the discussion centered on income while private servers, direct messages, and financial information were reportedly exposed. That also led some people to ask another question. If the platform was really generating that much monthly revenue, why were new crypto projects continuing to appear so often?
Is he welcome here? What to say? Send back to Romania or whatever.
Well, we have no involvement in that. I read about it through the media, but the reality is, no, Florida is not a place where you're welcome with that type of conduct in the air.
One reply under his own tweet summed up what many critics were thinking. It said, "You're making $40 million a month and still need to rug 5 new coins a week. At some point, that stops looking like hustle and starts looking like desperation." Then, on December 18th, a London court ordered the seizure of £2 million connected to unpaid taxes, adding even more pressure. This time, it wasn't something that could simply be brushed aside with social media posts because it directly affected his finances.
They've gone public, joking around saying, oh, what is the age of consent in America? 15, 16, 17? Oh, we can't remember. That's absurd. That is horrific. And anybody that's going to defend, that practice is on the wrong side of me. That's for sure.
That's not just an edgy joke. That's a state attorney general on record calling it horrific.
Yeah, look, these guys have themselves publicly admitted to participating in what very much appears to be soliciting, trafficking, preying upon women around the world. Many of these victims coming forward, some of them minors, people can spin or defend however they want. But in Florida, this type of behavior is viewed as atrocious. We're not going to accept it. They chose to come here and set their feet down in this state, and we're going to pursue every tool we have within our legal authority to hold them accountable.
Tate once again pointed to what he calls the Matrix, describing the situation as persecution and a coordinated attack on people who challenge the system. Supporters saw someone being unfairly targeted, while critics viewed those comments as an attempt to avoid addressing the underlying issues. Then, for the first time in nearly 2 years, there was a legal development that appeared to work in Andrew and Tristan Tate's favor. On January 14, 2025, a Romanian court lifted their house arrest. They were still not allowed to leave the country, but after spending months restricted to their property, it was widely seen as a meaningful step forward. That momentum didn't last long, and February 10th, a new lawsuit was filed with an American woman accusing the brothers of luring her to Romania through false promises related to adult work.
Do you support the Attorney General's actions here?
I do. I think those allegations have to be fully investigated, and then we go from there. The key thing is we don't tolerate the trafficking of women or, frankly, the abuse of women. We do not tolerate that.
What have I done since I've arrived? I did Patrick Bet David and sat on my laptop. That's all I've done. I've done Patrick Bet David, I sat on my laptop, and I had Taco Bell, and I've got a criminal investigation?
Yeah.
Where the doesn't even make any sense.
The brothers have denied wrongdoing regarding the allegations.
I sit there and go, wait. I don't know Diddy. Never spoken to him. I'm not defending him. What I'm saying is they've decided to wreck him. I don't know his side of the story. He may be guilty. His side of the story might be, yeah, I did it, but so did this guy, this guy, this guy, and this guy. I'm only asking why only him. I said, T, they're about to get Diddy. He said, why? I said, they've released a video that is 10 years old. They've been sitting on this for 10 long years. This was 2016 they got the footage. Why has no one seen it? And Tristan goes, that's out now? I was like, yep. 2 weeks later, arrested. They set up the public perception before the arrest. And I know how this works, so I saw it and called it. This came out of nowhere. This was stored somewhere in the Matrix archives. When they decided to take him down, first thing you do is slander him, just like they did to me.
With the trafficking investigation involving both brothers still ongoing, many expected the legal pressure to increase even more. Instead, on February 27th, Romanian authorities gave Andrew and Tristan permission to travel internationally for the first time in years. They wasted no time taking advantage of that decision. They flew directly to the United States, and the timing immediately sparked questions. The case had not been dismissed, and the investigation was still active, making the travel approval seem unusual to many observers. It also happened around the time of President Trump's inauguration, as his administration was rolling out a series of controversial executive orders. Soon after, rumors began circulating that the Trump administration had pressured Romanian officials to ease restrictions on the Tate brothers. Those claims spread quickly online, but they have not been substantiated with public evidence. Officially, no one confirmed those claims, but the rumors didn't appear out of thin air. Andrew and Tristan had publicly shown support for Trump for quite some time, often echoing his messaging and criticizing many of the same people who spoke out against him online.
I'm a Navy SEAL in this. You can come get me, raid my house, take my stuff. You think I sleep with a full phone full of evidence? You think I don't wipe my phone every night? You think I'm dumb? Come get me, arrest me. Let's do this all over again. I've done it for 4 years in Romania. You think I'm scared of your state jail after an Eastern European gulag? I'm staying right here.
So when a reporter asked Trump directly whether his administration had pressured Romania to release the brothers, a lot of people paid close attention to his response. The question had already become a major talking point, making the answer something many were waiting to hear. Trump said he didn't know anything about the claims, pushing back on the speculation.
Many of you have seen a video of Andrew Tate beating up a woman, and I'm pretty sure not so many of you have seen the same woman coming forward with a statement saying it was nothing but a play. So here I am again for the second time. Yes, the woman he has beaten up, and the same woman who has made a statement is me. So I'm coming forward for the second time to just clarify and let everybody know it was nothing but a play.
Whether that tells the whole story or not remains a matter of public debate. Not long afterward, Andrew said he planned to stay in the United States for the long term, drawing even more attention to the situation. What he may not have expected was that some American officials were just as interested in him remaining in the country, but for completely different reasons. The Tate brothers arrived in Florida, and some people assumed they would receive a warm welcome.
My PhD program, and that is PhD is a pimp and hose degree that teaches basically how I got girls, how I met girls, how I got girls to like me, how I got girls to fall in love with me to work on webcam for me. Romania, like I said I'd be, because innocent men don't run from anything. We're here to clear our names and exonerate ourselves, and after...
Instead, they were met with a much different response. Even if some people viewed parts of it as political theater, the message came across loud and clear. They were not being welcomed. Florida Attorney General James Uthmeier then opened an investigation into the brothers' conduct, and he made little effort to hide why that decision was being made. That wasn't presented as an edgy joke or an offhand comment. It was a state attorney general describing the allegations as horrific on the public record. Almost overnight, the safe haven Andrew believed he had found started looking more like a second legal battle. Even so, he framed the situation as political, claiming Governor DeSantis was targeting him because he had supported a rival politician instead of DeSantis' wife. He also argued that officials felt too threatened by his influence to ignore him.
Yeah, to the best of my knowledge, the Tate brothers are not in Florida right now. The investigation is still ongoing. But at the end of the day, if you're here and you're a criminal, if you're going to engage in activities that go after women, that go after our kids, we're gonna come after you.
But there was one major complication with that argument. The very politician Andrew said he had supported publicly disagreed with his claims, creating an unexpected setback for that narrative. That political persecution narrative lost momentum almost as quickly as it appeared. As the criticism continued to grow, Tate responded the way many people had come to expect, by appearing on one podcast after another, followed by more interviews where he continued defending his position and pushing back against the accusations. The strategy seemed to be that speaking louder and with more confidence might influence public opinion or discourage the people looking into the case. Instead, many observers felt that each new podcast and interview only brought even more attention and scrutiny to the situation.
I'll say this right here, right now. I don't need a reason. You're going to have to defend yourself, regardless. That's the thing about the American legal system. You cannot ignore it. I don't care if it costs me $1 million to take $1,000 out of your bank. You're going to be in court twice a month for the rest of your human years. I don't care. I will sue you for any and every reason forever. And you're going to have to hire lawyers and turn up forever. I will do that. I'm that guy. I'm petty. I'm petty and I've got a lot of money and a lot of time.
At one point, Tate even compared his own legal situation to Jeffrey Epstein's, a comparison that quickly sparked strong reactions and widespread criticism. Many critics argued that comparing himself to Epstein while also denying trafficking allegations did little to strengthen his defense. Instead of calming the controversy, the comparison drew even more attention and sparked fresh debate. In another interview, Tate also brought up P. Diddy without being asked, suggesting that both situations reflected the same kind of coordinated campaign against them. That comparison quickly became another major talking point. Then came what many people saw as one of his most controversial interview moments yet. Tate confidently told an interviewer that investigators would never be able to build a case against him because he wipes his phone every single night. The remark quickly spread online and became another major point of criticism and debate. Telling investigators that you regularly wipe your phone was seen by many critics as a statement that only invited more scrutiny, not less. Instead of helping his public image, the comment quickly became another widely discussed moment. Around the same time, Florida's investigation led many people to revisit older material from Tate's past. One video began circulating again, showing Tate restraining a woman on a bed and striking her with a belt while speaking to her aggressively. Some reports claimed the incident involved a 15-year-old, while Tate has disputed allegations of wrongdoing. To respond to the renewed attention, he later released a statement from the woman involved in which she described the encounter as consensual. Critics argued that this defense ran into two major problems, and they said either one raised serious questions on its own. First, if the reports about the woman's age at the time were accurate, then legal issues surrounding the ability to give consent would become a central part of the discussion. Second, leaked messages were alleged to show members of Tate's team advising the woman on what to say publicly, an allegation that critics said made the statement itself a focus of even more scrutiny. Around the same time, other older clips resurfaced, showing Tate describing in his own words how he recruited women into webcam work, bringing renewed attention to his past comments. By this stage, many observers felt the controversy had grown far beyond anything that could be answered with more interviews or public statements. The legal issues and public scrutiny kept building, making the situation even harder to contain. As the pressure intensified, Tate returned to Romania, saying he was going back to clear his name. The move immediately drew fresh attention and sparked another wave of public discussion about what would happen next. Others argued that a simpler explanation was that he didn't want to risk being detained while on American soil. Regardless of the reason, Florida's investigation into the brothers was far from over. With legal proceedings still ongoing in Romania, UK warrants still in place, and a Florida investigation also underway, the pressure surrounding Andrew Tate had grown on multiple fronts. Instead of appearing to stay in control of the situation, many observers felt he was now dealing with legal challenges across several jurisdictions. The more he described himself as a rebel fighting what he calls the Matrix, the more critics argued that he was facing the consequences of mounting legal scrutiny. His next move also drew plenty of attention. While this video was being written, Andrew and Tristan filed a defamation lawsuit against 15 formerly Twitter users who had criticized them, seeking at least $50,000 from each person named in the lawsuit. On paper, the lawsuit can be presented as an attempt to protect his reputation and clear his name. Critics, however, argued that it could also discourage people from speaking out because defending a lawsuit can be extremely expensive. Even so, the outcome depends on how the legal process unfolds, and defamation cases come with their own challenges. To succeed, Tate would generally need to show that the statements at issue were false under the applicable legal standards, and the legal process can involve both sides requesting evidence. That means the people being sued may also have opportunities to seek records or communications they believe support their defense. One of the accounts named in the lawsuit even pointed that out publicly, saying the case could open the door to obtaining additional evidence. It's a legal gamble that many observers believe could just as easily work against him, and regardless of how the lawsuits end, the broader legal matters surrounding him remain unresolved. The UK warrant is still active. The Romanian case is still moving through the courts. The Florida investigation also remains ongoing. Taken together, those legal challenges have left Andrew Tate facing pressure on multiple fronts. Trump denied any involvement. Florida officials publicly distanced themselves, and even the politician Tate, pointed to as an ally, publicly supported the investigation instead. That brings us to the biggest question. Is this all part of a calculated strategy, or is Tate's constant stream of interviews and public comments creating even more attention at the worst possible time? Every new appearance seems to spark another headline or fresh debate. What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next one.